So this was a wonderful way to begin the 2026 NBA season, the 80th campaign. The NBA was back on NBC. Everybody was happy about that. We got a chance to witness Michael Jordan be interviewed by Mike Tirico. It was great to see that. We saw all of these great past athletes: Tracy McGrady, um, Carmelo Anthony, Anthony. I'm sorry. Uh, shoot. Vince Carter. We got a chance to see all of these greats, and of course Reggie Miller actually calling a color. We got a chance to see all these past NBA greats. So the NBA was set up for nostalgia to re-enter the atmosphere and to get us hoping again for the product being great. And that's one of the greatest ploys of marketing. When we can actually think of days of yore, and it's like, wow, it'd be great to have these days come back again. Man, I really miss when Jordan and McGrady and Carmelo and Carter and Reggie, when they all were playing, it was great. It was wonderful. I want to go back to those days again. We actually had that and had two pretty good games to begin the season with the with the nightcap being the Warriors and the Lakers, with a LeBronless Lakers at that, and Luka Doncic, the more svelte figure, actually showing his skills there, and the game that started the whole season, the Rockets and the Thunder going into double overtime. We were having a wonderful trip down memory lane, and the season started because we're all happy about hearing the NBA on NBC theme again. Thank you, John Tesh, with that wonderful theme. We were feeling that 1998 vibes all over. And then we have this. The NBA is reassessing its measures on legal sports betting. I wonder why. How it should be regulated, what types of bets should be allowed, and the best ways to protect players from the quote dire risks that gambling can impose upon their careers and livelihoods, close quote, according to a leak memo obtained by ESPN on Monday. Hey, Mr. Charles Baker, you see what I said, son? So the NCAA has a whole lot of integrity. These are the big boys, men, grown men, and they have difficulty regulating this. What makes you think you can regulate 18 to 22-year-olds doing what seemingly 30-year-olds and 35-year-olds and 40-year-olds are having issues doing? I digress. Said memo was sent out to all 30 teams 4 days after veteran guard Terry Rozier and the Portland Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups were indicted as part of a federal investigation into gambling schemes involving sports betting and poker. The league wrote in that memo that it was reviewing policies regarding injury reporting, training, education of all NBA personnel, and safety measures for players.
Before you continue on,
Go ahead, sir.
what's up, Ryan? Thank you for joining.
Ryan, he says, afternoon, gents. The other half of No Credentials Required, say hello to Dustin. He's also here as well. He says, I reckon this particular scandal in the NBA is just the tip of the spear. And I 100% agree with you. I think it is just a tip of the spear, too. I bet, no pun intended, this goes deeper than what is at the surface. No lies there. No lies there. And that's what angers me, because I know there's a whole lot more that than we know. And I think there's a whole lot more than what we're going to know that is afoot here. Federal authorities accuse Rozier of conspiring with a childhood friend in a gambling scheme centered on prop bets on his statistics from a game back on March of 2023 when he was a member of the Hornets. Rozier, according to the indictment, told co-conspirator De Niro Laster that he would be leaving the game early against the New Orleans Pelicans. Laster sold the non public information about Rozier's status to gamblers for approximately 100 gur, according to the indictment. I'm sorry, 100,000. Sportsbooks in multiple states detected unusual betting interest on the under on Rozier's statistics ahead of that game, and enough unexpected betting came in that many sports books halted betting on Rozier ahead of it. Rozier left the game after playing a little over 9 minutes, citing a foot injury. The memo went to say about that incident, quote, while the unusual betting on Terry Rozier's unders in the March 2023 game was detected in real time because the bets were placed legally, we believe there is more that can be done from a legal and regulatory perspective to protect the integrity of the NBA and our affiliated leagues. In particular, proposition bets on individual player performance involve heightened integrity concerns and require additional scrutiny. Close quote. There's that word again, integrity. Baker, I want you to look at this. You said that your entity has the highest integrity. Okay. And you're seeing grown men are having issues with integrity in relation to betting, in relation to gambling. You're seeing this, right? Real time, you're seeing this. The league wrote in a memo that it is exploring ways to enhance its integrity monitoring programs to better use artificial intelligence and other tools to, quote, synthesize all available data from betting operators, social media, and other sources to identify betting activity of concern, close quote. Now, both Rozier and Billups, they were put on leave by the NBA last week, and afterwards they were arrested in Florida and Oregon, respectively, they were charged in separate indictments. Billups is accused of participating in rigged poker games with ties to organized crime, according to the incident. The memo goes on to say, quote, with sports betting now occupying such a significant part of the current sports landscape, every effort must be made to ensure that players, coaches, and other NBA personnel are fully aware of the dire risks that gambling can impose upon their careers and livelihoods, that our injury discloses rules are appropriate, and that players are protected from harassment from bettors. Close quote. Now, Rozier and Billups, they're only two of the 34 who have been arrested by the FBI. Another would be the assistant coach, Damon Jones. But the Billups part is what really irks me. You had the distinction of being one of the good guys, one of the character guys. That's what we heard when you later got your career going in Denver, and then when you became a champion as a Piston. That was the word. Integrity guy, good guy. And you do this. I pray that you actually say this is all false. But normally in the way that I have witnessed these types of investigations which happen, the FBI normally doesn't throw handcuffs on you until they basically say, we got all of this on you and you have nowhere else to run, hide, or cover. So there's something of dirt, something afoot, and something awry with how you roll and operate. And it's a shame that you are the head coach of one of these 30 NBA teams, and that's how you get down. That is how you get down. That is okay to actually participate in rigged games. Rigged games. That now we actually have mafia ties to it. Really? Oh my gosh. I I don't understand it. This was supposed to be a time where we would get to celebrate the league beginning a new season, and nostalgia overload was supposed to take place. And now we have many things that just cloud what and overshadow the goodness of what this league has been. I mean, we got. I mean, we're supposed to talk about Austin Reeves scoring a career high 51 points in the game. You know, we're supposed to be talking the fact that Luka Doncic was just boogieing the first two games of the season. We're supposed to talk about the Thunder having overtime games and overcoming it and winning. We were supposed to be talking about it looks like this league is actually pretty healthy with a lot of good young talent all over the league that I really believe we are going to see a boon, the likes of which we might not really have ever seen. We're supposed to be talking about those things, but no, we're not. We're not talking about the greatness of one Victor Wembanyama who can actually block shots without leaving his feet. No, no. We're talking about people who want to get their money on. We're talking about people who want to impugn the integrity of a league. We're talking about individuals who think they can skirt the rules and mess up a good thing. We're talking about those things. We're not talking about who we think is going to win the East or the West, who are the 16 teams that might qualify for the playoffs. We're not talking about those things. No. We're talking about if the NBA can survive this horrible mark that's placed on it now. Because you got the FBI all in the fingerprints of the league and their operations. It's one thing with a player doing this. A coach? I mean, this this is almost known. This actually is. This is Pete Rose-esque. And for those who don't understand that reference, Pete Rose was a player for the Phillies and the Reds, mostly the Reds. He also, in the 1980s, got to manage the Reds. And he bet when he was a manager. Every time he bet on the Reds to win, but he would place bets on his team. And he vehemently denied it. He got banned from the league. And then when he admitted it, the league didn't want to reinstate him. And they didn't reinstate him until after he died. And now he has a posthumous Hall of Fame award ceremony that's upcoming. More than likely it will be this coming summer. But this next summer. But the thing is, you have this figure who was the leader of men, soiling the league and his own reputation on betting. And now you have another coach who he may not have bet on games, but he was involved in games, in poker games, where it was rigged and it had organization ties, crime ties to it. Oh my gosh. I mean, almost it's almost like that scene in Malcolm X where Denzel Washington was lying in bed and he was contemplating the end of possibly his life. And this was after he left the Nation of Islam and his home got firebombed. And he reflected on the organization in the arms of Betty, his wife. And he said, quote, Nation of Islam, the greatest organization that black people ever created. And Negroes ruined it. Close quote. Now, he didn't say Negras. You know what he said. That's exactly how I feel here. The NBA is probably one of the best places that gives hope to these young black men and the WNBA, young black women. But I'll just take it NBA style. It's one of the greatest places that gives hope to young black men who actually do have the athletic gifts to take their families from the poorhouse and have them live the lap of luxury. And we're having niggers ruin it. But hey, I'll say this. If anything, the best thing that's come from this scandal is we're not talking about the NBA Cup. Thank the Lord for that. But come on, man. You cannot ruin the reputation of the league by gambling and involving mob bosses. I mean, this is out of a doggone Hollywood script, but it's real life. Heck, I think it was better that we were dealing with LeBron selling his soul to to Hennessy. I'm sure that's what they want now because it looks like the NBA is spiraling further and further down because they can't get out of the way of gambling. And you wondered why people were afraid of involving Las Vegas in sports. And now you're seeing why. The commissioner himself, he had this to say about all the festivities. Quote, deeply disturbed. I had a pit in my stomach. Close quote. Yeah. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. Another coach, JB Bickerstaff, he had this to say about the scandal. Quote, it's a scary situation. The information that our guys have, just natural things that happen through a shoot around or through a practice that might be a casual conversation at home or wherever it may be, that information may have been monetized now. You have to be extremely careful. Close quote. You having people around the league having to think like that. You're having people around the league having to feel like that. You're having people around the league having to protect themselves like that. Hmm. I remember something my grandmother would always say to me. Hmm. One apple can spoil a whole bunch. And I asked her one day, I said, well, why would this one apple spoil a bunch of apples where the rest of them actually grew healthy? She says, you'll see. And so I got a chance to witness later on in life a healthy pile of strawberries. They all looked ripe and red and ready to eat. And then this one strawberry had fungus on it. Dropped it in the middle of that strawberry patch, and then the whole strawberry patch was infected. Mr. Rozier, Mr. Billups, that's what you've done. And the other 32, that's what you've done. These few bad apples, you're spoiling a whole bunch. And now you're going to have many people who look at the NBA and say, oh, all of them are criminals because they have to involve the mob when they actually bet. I hope you're actually happy about that. Well, I'm tired of discussing this disgust. That's the end of Flagrant Foul. And when we do return, we will actually talk about good things. The good things, such as Luka Doncic possibly showing a future of how things will be in Los Angeles. The Thunder looking as though they're going to be champs to be reckoned with, and are the Knicks for real? And also, do the Thunder have a challenger? And well, who can come up besides the Knicks or the Cavs? We will have that on the other side. This is Shooting Lights Out with the playmaker. I'm Cole Johnson. We'll be back right after this.